What would you say to that kid, that that wounded kid, that damaged kid? If you could go back now, as this guy right now beside me, what would you say?
You see, have you heard of the butterfly effect? You know the butterfly effect, and we like Back to the Future.
We love it.
If you go back and change something, the butterfly effect says if you go back in time and you kill a butterfly, even though that's such a small, insignificant thing, you set up, you create a ripple effect, and when you come back to present time, everything's different. I wouldn't want to change that. I wouldn't want to change my experience, and I wouldn't say anything to myself. You know,
You just go back and maybe observe.
I would observe. But if the question is, what would you say to young people today?
Oh yeah, that's a different. But then that's butterfly effect too.
Well, that's okay because they're creating their own experience. I was creating my own experience as a kid, and I didn't have any resources. I didn't have. Um, there was no one to look up to. I didn't have a male role model. Like I had some male role models, but not enough that I could say that I felt like I was supported.
Mm.
So so if I was talking to like someone that's 12 years old, a young 12-year-old boy or girl, I would say that you are in control of your destiny. You should follow the things that you love. You should you should pursue the things that interest you. You should look for mentors and look for older people that have the life that you want and ask for their advice. Look for programs, look for help, look on YouTube, look for examples of other people that have done the things that you're looking to do, and
Emulate.
emulate, create, build. You are in control. You are empowered. You are supported. Um, that's a big part of the mandate of the foundation is to make sure that no one is left behind. You know, and for me, I can't go back to the past, but I can impact the future by sharing my story. Like one of the things that,
In the present.
yeah, from the present, because here from the maybe I wouldn't have gone down that dark path, but I just simply didn't have access to it. You know, but looking back in hindsight, for myself, I wouldn't change anything. You know, I wouldn't change anything.
You mentioned the dark times. And you mentioned in our boot camp sometimes too. What can you share with us a really tough time when you were on the streets? Like, it doesn't have to be your darkest moment, but like, can you share a moment where you thought, I'm I'm never coming out of this hole?
The Quadra family, it's very prideful family. Um, my my grandfather was an intellectual. My mom is an intellectual, and they're so prideful. Like my mom doesn't ask for help,
Mm.
right? She's a strong woman. I was raised as a feminist. You know, I was raised. Anybody can do anything, and you should be able to do things and not ask for help. You know,
Yeah.
so for me, living on the streets to get to that point, because remember, we don't ask for help, right? And to get to the point where, you know, I'm asking someone for change on the streets, that was a dark moment for me, because that means I'm going against all the beliefs of my family, right? Like, we don't take handouts. You know what I mean? This is not my mom, prideful woman. We didn't have anything, but it was like rent is always paid on time. You know, my mom said this to me, uh, not having money. So one day I was arguing about taking a shower. I didn't want to take a shower. Who cares? You know what I mean? And it's something along the lines where we didn't have money, so who cares, kind of thing. You know, my mom said that doesn't give you an excuse not to be a man of integrity and not to clean yourself, not to brush your teeth, and you know, just because you don't have money doesn't mean you can't have pride over yourself or your life or what you're doing. So getting to the point where now I'm asking a complete stranger for change on the street. It's it was a dark moment for me. How do you get to that point? You know, is the question. You know, like, I don't think I've shared this with a lot of people, but well, first, how did I end up on the streets? Well, my my mom left. She actually went to El Salvador.
Mm.
She was on a trip.
Mm.
I was a bad boy. I was out of control,
Mm.
and I decided to throw parties in my apartment. Right?
No.
So now we're getting into the drinks. You see, if you're watching this, you realize that I'm going deep.
The drinks, the juice, the magic juice, right at the
The
meetups.
things that no one I never talk about from stage. Obviously, we don't have the time available.
Right.
But this kid jumped out of my balcony. So I lived on the fifth floor, and this kid jumped off my balcony
In Ottawa.
in Ottawa.
Lord have mercy.
And the way he landed, he broke his ribs, and the hospital. He survived, but the ambulance came, picked him up, and the cops were called. Everyone on the balcony was out looking, and the cops came to the house, broke up the party and whatnot, and then the manager, the management, they served me this letter that says, you're a disturbance and you have to vacate the apartment.
An end form.
Not an, well, I don't know what it was called in those days, but it was a lot easier to get people out
An eviction
an
notice.
eviction notice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so basically, the here's my options. When my mom was going to come back from El Salvador, she would lose her apartment. We were living in Ottawa housing,
Mm.
and I mean, the waiting list for those types of apartments, and like, basically, like, I'm destroying our lives over some stupid party. So what I said to the manager, I said, the property manager, I said, if I leave, can my mom stay?
How old were you?
15.
Okay.
15. And so he's like, well, if you leave, you're gonna solve a lot of our problems. You know what I mean? And so that's what I decided to do. I left home. And the eviction went away. My mom got to stay, and I just left. So at 15 years old, what are your options? Group home.
Mm.
I didn't want to go to a group home.
Mm.
Friends. So at the very beginning, all of your friends' parents will bring you in,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
With open arms.
Come on the couch.
Come on the
Couch
couch.
hopping. helping.
come, like we're gonna. Don't worry. Oh, pobrecito, poor guy. He's down and out. He's doesn't have a home, but eventually you become a burden to uh, parents that are not your parent, and you're 15 and you're eating all the food. You know what I mean? And I'm still smoking joints in people's houses,
Still
and
partying.
yeah, and eventually, like you burn this bridge, and then so you go to your another friend's house, and then you burn that, and eventually you just run out of friends. And so now there's park benches.
So let's pause for a second. So let's get to that night where it's like I've run out of friends. I'm facing the reality that I may have
In
to.
winter.
Then in the winter, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, winter in Ottawa is not a joke. It's nothing like this.
Yeah.
It's life threatening.
Yeah.
No joke.
No joke. You
Take
could
us there.
die. You
Take
could
us
die.
there. Take us there. You're facing a night outside. What does that look and feel like?
So the
15.
the first place you go to is the shelter,
Okay.
right? But have you ever gone to the shelter?
I mean, I've volunteered at it, but it's not. I mean, it's not at night. It's
You
not
think
like
about a 15-year-old boy.
it's full of old men.
Yeah,
Like
but
older
these
men.
people are weird and they're scary,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
So the shelter was not an option.
Right.
So then you go into the mall, right? And you try to go into different corners of the mall. Eventually, there's cameras, there's security, and they kick you out of the mall,
Mm.
right? And now you're like, and obviously, I didn't have the best jacket. I wasn't dressed the best. You know what I mean? Like, it just, you don't think about these things. You don't think about bringing your best winter jacket or whatever. So what I knew I had was a bank account at the Royal Bank, and I knew that I could I could open the door with my bank account, even though there's negative money. There was no money in the bank account, but at least it opened the door.
Wow.
And that's where I slept that first night. I slept in uh, and I've slept in many banks, but I remember the first night that I slept in that bank, which at first you find the warmth, no one is there, and it becomes a situation of survival, and so you're happy and you're grateful that you found a place to sleep. And I slept the first night that I slept in a bank. I was woken up by one of the tellers.
In the morning.
Yeah, in the morning when they're coming in or whatnot, and it's like, shoo, get out of here, you know. And you wake up and you've probably only really had like 3 hours sleep or whatever, and you just like wake up and you see this person and you're like, you're so apologetic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you feel like shit. You feel like the gum underneath someone's shoe. And then you're cold. You have no money, and the best thing that could happen to you is you find a cigarette butt half smoked, and you're like, oh, thank God, you know. And on that same drag, it used to be under Rideau Street. Used to be underneath bus shelters. Like it was a whole bus shelter on Rideau Street. So it's like at least it's warmer in there.
Oh yes, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you'll spend your morning there trying to like get some change or something, so you can go to Timmy's and buy something or whatever, And that's kind of like the experience that I had. I slept in National Bank. So there's all these banks. So there's like the Royal Bank, there's National Bank of Canada, and now this bank, Royal Bank, converted into Joey. Where the Royal Bank used to be is now Joey. And
the expensive restaurant.
The expensive restaurant, which I love going there because it really like every time I go there, I think about where I've slept, and I've signed multi-million-dollar deals in that restaurant. But I would say when you ask me what's my darkest moments, I would say those are some of the darkest ones. Mostly because of my upbringing and having to ask complete strangers to give you a cigarette or asking for change or whatever. Uh, it was humiliating, and it was dark.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. What was your relationship with God like at the time?
No relationship, zero.
Zero.
Um, in fact, if there was a God, how could this happen to me? Right? If there was a God, how
Did
how come
this
so many people suffer, and how come I'm in the middle of it, and why is life always happening? Like, why am I this person that attracts so much negativity in my life? So at that point, there was zero reflection. uh, I didn't take any responsibility over myself or my life, and it was just a circumstance that, you know what, this is the cards that I was dealt.
How is your relationship with God now? What does that look like? Because you don't talk about religion or spirituality. I know you to be very spiritual, but you're not specific about what that relationship looks and feels like.
I have a deep relationship with God. All of When you ask me if I can go back and change, what would I say to myself? I wouldn't say anything, because I needed to experience all of the darkness
Mm.
to see the light. I think it was in my 20s where I started to do a lot of self-reflection. My grandmother was Catholic, my mom is atheist,
Wow.
and so I grew up with this.
Wow.
I grew up with this conflicting uh,
Wow.
theories, right?
Opposing worlds.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
And so when I started to invest in myself and do the work in myself, I started to realize that, it would be, first of all, it's in my opinion, this is only my opinion, to it would be very arrogant to think that the entire universe, in its vastness of this universe, that the only thing that matters is this little crumb of earth, and that nothing is, everything just is. There's a purpose for things and people, and we all come with a blank slate to this existence. And in my personal opinion, there's other things that are working here that we don't even understand, right? And so, how do I how do I put that into words?
Mm.
Spirituality,
Mm.
meditation, personal growth, working on yourself, right? The For me, religion, and this is just my opinion, it gets in the way of the spirituality,
100%.
because religion it's all about conforming
Mm.
and not being following doctrine, like a certain doctrine. And I just feel, as a humanity, we don't know enough about ourselves to even you know to even say that this is the only way. And if it's not this exact way, it's not gonna work, right? So religion does get in the way of spirituality, prayer. I pray a lot. I meditate a lot, and through that I found God, and through my prayer and meditation, I've been able to uh, become very spiritual, which is a very big part of what you asked before. Is like, how do I become so composed? God, when I'm inspired, when I am when I am turned on to the frequencies of the whatever the source is, and I won't even be able to talk about it because I don't know what it is.
Mm.
But when I'm in my
Zone.
zone, when I'm enlightened, I know I can create anything. And so the composure comes from understanding that my responsibility is to the people around me, and at that point, it's like I have to be an example. I have to be an example to the people around me, and so that's my spirituality. I don't know what you call it. People have put names on it. If you're putting a name on it, then you're going the wrong way. You know.
It's
Uh,
so subjective.
yeah, because it's like okay, people can say, "Oh, New Age," but now you put a name on it. You
Yeah.
messed it up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You put a name on it. The 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 connection that I make is good. What feels good? What feels good for me? That means I'm in alignment with God. What feels good? What feels right? What is where is the energy taking me? That's 100% out of what I even know. You know, when I'm on stage and people asking me all these questions, like I'm like possessed at some point. It's not even me,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
That's God. That's God, right? I've been put in this position for a reason, and it's a reason that I don't even understand now. Humanity is where it is right now. We don't understand. You know, you have two kids. I have kids. If you're, if you're 4-year old, how old is your youngest?
6.
6. If your 6-year old is asking you about rape,
Hmm.
how do you describe that to him? You can't. You're gonna use other words. You're gonna probably,
Skirt
yeah,
around
exactly.
the real definition.
We are 4-year-old infants as a society,
Mm.
and the higher power, whatever your belief is is not going is not going to, you're not ready for that information.
Mhm.
We collectively as a species are not ready to know all that there is, and because we haven't grown enough. We just we just abolished slavery 100 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever it was. Like, we're still
We're not even adolescents yet.
not even. And so there's a lot of things that we need to discover about ourselves as a society, and there's a lot of things that I have to discover about myself as a person, that, you know to add religion to it, it just doesn't, it's not in alignment with who I am. And what I'm more focused on is the pursuit of, you know where what kind of person that I can become on this planet while I'm here. What's the impact that I can have? And whatever I'm called to do, I will do it. Right? Whatever, if it means I have to do 200 events in one year, which this is what I did in 2023. That's what I'm called to do. that is not me making that decision. This is a higher power, saying that you are the vessel,
Mm.
and this is what you have to do right now.
You talked about prayer,
Yeah.
and you pray all the time. What will you pray for tonight?
I pray in the morning.
You have a prayer in the morning,
Yeah.
prayer time.
Yeah. My obsession is in helping people. All of my prayers are about what I can help people achieve. I never really pray about I never really pray about things that I for myself. I don't think about, oh, can I get a Lambo? Please, can you give me a Lambo?
And one for Luis too.
One for Luis. Um, my prayer is really about um,
We're coming. We've filled my phone here, but luckily we've got the live going here.
yeah. My prayers are mostly about what is it that I can do to create more impact, change more lives, help more people achieve financial freedom so they can take that time and help even more people. Those are the things I think about. I obsess about it. So all of it, all of the, the praying that I do is around give me I want more skills to help more people. I want to be able to be a better communicator. I want to be a better leader, and I want to help more people. Sometimes it's very specific people because I get attached to people and I get very invested in their growth and their development. And my prayers are around very specific people. Sometimes it's gratitude about where I am and
Mm.
the life that we have created for ourselves and our families, our friends. Like, being in this house full of beautiful people that um, all just want good. You know what I mean? Everyone in this house just wants to do good, be good, help other people do good, and you know, there's no negativity in this house.
No,
Tomorrow morning, I will pray for everybody in this house. You know, I want to be that. And I want everybody's life to be better. That's kind of the thing. That's the things I pray for.
that makes a lot of sense. I've always known you to be the type of person, the type of man that doesn't give fish away.
Hmm.
You you're more the type that will give a fishing rod.
Hmm.
You've given me many fishing rods and
Yeah.
said, "This is how you use it. This is how it works." And now we're getting to the point where we're starting to fish with nets.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to show other people how to fish with rods and whatnot. And I want to thank you publicly for uh, that opportunity.
My brother.
Because it would be it would be one thing to just get a handout my last day, but this type of instruction and
Hmm.
mentorship, tutelage,
Hmm.
some people would say, and this type of like attention is life changing. And I'm here in this positive house. Is Some might call it a mansion. I mean, it's a beautiful facility. I mean, it's a facility, right? Just say no now. Um,
Is it recording?
no,
Just press the record and then you can.
we ran out. We ran out. we get
Mine, mine's still going. We had 45 minutes on one,
now we're at 30 minutes on this one. You know, I'm at a point where I'm helping others, excuse me, learn how to fish. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm helping others teach others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, in my opinion, I'm learning to transition from 10xing to 100xing.
Yeah.
And when I pray for um, I pray for the ability to continue to help contribute,
Yeah.
to other people's lives,
Yeah.
and having that, it's like a blessing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's like a gold crown.
And to me, that's leadership.
Yeah.
You know, people read a lot of books about leadership. Everybody wants to be a leader because they they feel it's like, oh, I finally get recognized. But if you're doing it for that reason,
Mm,
that's not leadership, because it's not about you.
no.
True leadership is about developing other people, helping other people, creating other people, building other people, and getting making sure that the people around you get the things that they want, they feel fulfilled in the things that they do. Well, what about me? Don't worry about you.
Help other people.
If you help enough people get what they want, you'll be taken care of.
Amen.
Look at this. This is great. This is great. So, guys, if you're still hanging around here, I mean, I named this. I named this video part 2.
Seems fitting.
But
We'll see you on part 3.
if you're still hanging around here and you've watched this, I think you'll appreciate it. We've been very vulnerable in this video,
Mm,
and I want to thank you, Luis,
thank you.
for uh, bringing that out of me. Not a lot of things that I've shared on this video I've ever shared before, so this is very exclusive. And it's already night, so I don't know how long we've been here, but I appreciate you guys for watching this, and I'm going to encourage you guys to, go follow Luis on his channel. What's the channel again?
Rivas Real Estate Investments.
Rivas Real Estate Investments. Go to that YouTube channel. This video, now you'll have to cut it up, I think, or something.
Yeah, I might have to chop it. Yeah.
Chop it up or something, but I think it was worth it. It was worth all the memory in your phone. We think we provided a lot of value for our folks, and
if anything, entertainment.
Yeah, the entertainment. But we're here. We're getting ready for our ultimate mastermind retreat, and if you
Come
haven't
to the next one.
come to the next one. If you haven't come to a retreat yet, what's wrong with you? We are going to change lives the next 5 days. Alfonso loves you.
Luis, love you.
We all love you, and we'll see you all at the top.